Hi, I'm Tammy Randolph, and you're watching The Chamber Does What? Hi, thank you for joining me today. I have two special guests for you, Kyle Stokes and David Goodwill from City Fields. Hi, gentlemen.
Hi, Tammy. Good to see you.
You too. Now, David, you are the director, executive director.
Executive director.
Okay. And Kyle, you are the community engagement.
Yeah, I think official title's community development director, but I don't care about titles. Community engagement's fine.
Titles are one thing, but always in that final part is all duties as necessary. And so it just kind of encapsulates a little bit of everything.
It's nonprofit work, jack of all trades. It's kind of what we all occupy.
Yes, yes. Tell me a little bit about City Fields. For those of you who don't know, what is City Fields?
Yeah, so we were launched as an initiative called Impact Cleveland a little over 10 years ago by United Way in the Blythe Oldfield neighborhood, partnering alongside neighborhood leaders. It's a historic neighborhood, built a lot of the industries back when Cleveland was even more so a manufacturing town. It's becoming that way again. And that neighborhood was developed in the 1920s to house a lot of those families that worked at those industries. And over the decades, as manufacturing left the downtown area, as folks lose jobs and real estate development changes, what once was a thriving working class neighborhood fell on hard times through a lot of external forces happening to it. And so neighborhood leaders, the city, United Way got together and we're like, well, let's work alongside this neighborhood and help them reach their full potential. And so in 2017, we became City Fields. And that name, which confuses people, we don't work for the city. We have 5 fields of engagement with neighborhoods that we work in. Physical revitalization, social revitalization, economic development, leadership development, and neighborhood safety. All of those areas kind of working together to help neighborhoods thrive. And so we're in Blythe Oldfield now and College Hill neighborhood we started working in and alongside a couple of years ago.
And I think that's the key word that you said in there. You work along with the residents in the neighborhood. You didn't come in and move people out. You didn't displace. You came in and met with the residents and said, how can we do this together?
Absolutely. Cleveland's grown a ton. I grew up in Cleveland, and it's grown a ton in the 30-plus years I've been around. And a lot of that growth has happened on the north side of town because that's where the market development happens. And so you just don't want neighborhoods in East Cleveland to be overlooked by a lot of that growth. And so we want to ensure that those neighbors have a voice in what their neighborhoods become and that they have an opportunity to stay and live and work and play where they live already and not be forced out or not be able to afford to live in their neighborhood anymore.
That's a great cause and a great plan. You talked about the different platforms that you have. What are some of the programs that you offer at City Fields and for the community? Yeah,
so our main areas of work within those 5 fields are we do affordable home ownership. So first-time home buyers, 80% or up to 120% of the area median income to try to create, that mixed income. You don't want poverty or wealth to be partitioned to any one place. You want it all mixed in together. So affordable home ownership, workforce development. So folks that have experienced barriers to employment, whether that's being justice involved, coming out of drug recovery, or just generally overlooked by the labor market altogether. We do trades boot camps alongside Cleveland State and other partners for those folks who have been overlooked. And so
I will say, I'm going to interrupt you a minute.
Yeah.
The trade boot camps, that is a wonderful thing. It's not just for the people in that community.
No, that's a lot of those classes are for the public. Yeah.
My son actually went through the welding program and did that.
Right.
And that was a game changer for him. And he's had a great job. He's thrived at the company that he's working with now. And it truly was a game changer for him when he was able to do that program. And I can't recommend enough the programs that you have over there for the workforce training for that.
Yeah, those have really expanded a lot over the last few years, and Cleveland State's been a great partner in that, as has the Chamber. So workforce development classes, and just generally thinking through what economic development looks like in place in East Cleveland. And then we've got community gardens in both neighborhoods and partner alongside the neighborhood associations with any events that they're doing and just try to support them leading their own neighborhood.
You did a run not too long ago, didn't you?
We did.
Over through there. You've done a couple of marathons.
We did. We did a 5K. Actually, it was our second. Now we call it the second annual 5K. That's right. We just had so much fun doing that and partnering alongside our neighborhood. I really like that you recognize the word alongside, because that's what we do at City Fields. We listen to the voices of the neighborhood, and their voices are what guide everything that we do. And when we started, what did we need? We needed workforce training. You know, in order to have stable housing, you have to have stable employment. So we're working to get people jobs and to train them so that they can have a stable employment. And then community resources in terms of the neighborhood, with neighborhood gardens, teaching folks how to source their own food, which is important within a food desert like the Blythe Oldfield and College Hill areas. But at the same time, it's more than a garden. I mean, it's also very enriching for family life and for neighborhood life. They've been enormously successful and an enormous amount of work.
Kind of a gathering place for them.
Absolutely.
I would say, because like you said, it's a community garden, so everybody's pitching in together, and it's adding that community feel through East Cleveland. I think that kind of didn't feel that they had that for a long time.
Yeah, there was a really healthy social fabric for a long time, and it still was the case. You just, you know, when you end up with blighted property and a lot of activity that a lot of families don't want in their neighborhood, that social fabric, that public gathering kind of decreases a little bit, and through partnership with the city that revitalized the public park there and community gardens, you've got that, you know, re-engagement of public life, of public gathering that really enhances the social fabric of the place.
It is a beautiful
And
park there.
it's great.
We've been able to help return neighborhoods to a place of flourishing, and so that the place matters. Our neighborhoods matter. Where you grow up and the folks that you live next to matter. And that's one thing that's really fulfilling about the work that we do in the neighborhood engagement part is just seeing how those neighborhoods are returning to a place of flourishing. And the other night there in the park that's adjoining to our building over on Blythe Avenue, we had a lot of families out playing. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and they were still out on the soccer field playing. And one thing that Kyle noticed when he was out there was the parking lot was not very full of cars, which kind of tells us that, you know, families feel safe now letting their children walk down to the park and play. And that was just that's been a long time coming, and it's been a nice thing.
When you're talking about the community gardens and the focus that it is, one of the things that I know that we're planning next year is we're going to host, or actually you're going to host, a chamber networking event there. You're going to have one of the after hours there, and we're going to do it in the community gardens. And I think that will be great. Now, I think people will be surprised to know that City Fields, a nonprofit, is a chamber member. Why was it important for City Fields to join the chamber?
I love being a part of the chamber at City Fields because we are a part of the fabric of the city. We are fortunate to be able to be developing and revitalizing two of Cleveland's most oldest neighborhoods, most historic neighborhoods, and it's been a great part of the chamber to have other folks from other parts of town that really don't know what's on the other side of the railroad tracks come over and visit us, come over and volunteer with us, and be a help. It just helps us. It helps us be a part of the city of Cleveland. So one thing that we love about the chamber and being members of the chambers, even the Chamber Connect coffees in the mornings, when we do that once a month, as many of our staff that can go, and we see a lot of our partners there. We have a lot of folks that come to us and ask us about City Fields and how can they be involved. We've had, that's a very busy hour for us because we're talking to folks about housing and ways that they could be involved. Everything from hey, these are some of our partners from Wholesale Supply Group. These are some of our partners from Best Buy Metals. And we see a lot of the people that we are able to do our work with in that room, networking and offering ways that they can partner with us to make our neighborhoods better. And it's all because of Cleveland Bradley Chamber of Commerce.
And helping you get new connections as well. I know
Very
I've been
much so.
to, I think we've worked with, like, especially with the workforce development area. Danielle Seals has done very well. And I've seen you at some of the senior interviews. And so you work with that and partner with the high schools as well to help them, and with the Pi Center to kind of keep that focus and help that training and move forward. Because a lot of times when you're in those blighted neighborhoods in that blighted area, they don't see that path. And so you're able to help them find that path through that way.
Absolutely. And I remember when I was in high school, I did the Chamber of Commerce Youth Leadership
Oh,
Program.
yeah.
And I remember very vividly feeling like I had a sense of ownership of my town that I didn't have before I did that. And so now they bring the Adult Leadership Cleveland group, and the Youth Leadership Cleveland group comes over to visit once a year when they're having those cohorts. And that's a great way to connect with a lot of young and older leaders in our community about visioning forward for all of Cleveland.
Now, David, I know you've graduated from the Leadership Cleveland program. And so you said youth leadership. Have you done our adult leadership program
I
yet?
have not.
We've, as far as I know, we've only had one of our youth leadership have done the adult leadership, and that was Neely Benton.
Sounds like
So
I
I
need to
think
be
it's
number 2.
I think you need to sign up for that. I really do.
Well, one thing that's kind of neat with Kyle and I, we both grew up here in Cleveland. It's our hometown, and we've enjoyed representing the chamber at different events, and we've enjoyed learning more about our own hometown just through partnerships at the Chamber of Commerce. It's been nice.
That's wonderful. What kind of future ideas do you have for? I mean, because I know when City Field started, or Impact Cleveland, it was just revitalizing the neighborhood, and then all these other needs came along with it. What do you see in the future for City Fields?
Whatever will continue to allow those places to be neighborhoods where any kid can flourish and has every opportunity that any other kid in Cleveland has. And that's going to look increasingly more like, what do we do with affordable housing when the markets change so drastically in the country, but in those neighborhoods as well? How do you deal with that?
I think the definition of affordable housing has changed a
Yeah,
lot.
absolutely. So we're constantly at the drawing board about, you don't want neighborhoods to be places where people are trying to get out of. And there's not like affordability across town. So how do you create affordability where they already live in quality homes? That's a challenge that's going to persist. What does redevelopment of Wildwood and East Inman Street look like so that there's affordable business and commercial and restaurant? Would be great if it was owned by people who live in the neighborhood. Creating some hubs of local gathering would be great. So,
how far will City Fields go? I mean, you've mentioned, where you're at in East Cleveland with Blythe Oldfield and College Hill. How far are you planning to go with it? Is there a
That's an
limit?
interesting question. We can look around at a body of work that we've done for the last 10, 11, 12 years, and we're very happy to be able to stand on the shoulders of those that were in it at the beginning. And our work in the Blythe Oldfield neighborhood is by no means finished.
It's always going to be ongoing.
Even though, and that's the nature of community development, is it is a living, breathing thing that just continues and continues. So we instead of looking at other areas and other places we can go, we continue to look at the two neighborhoods we work in and say, what is the next step in that neighborhood? And Kyle has a really good illustration that he uses when it comes to neighborhood work that has to do with like foundations and laying concrete and things like that. And I'll put you on the spot.
Okay, let's hear it.
Well, neighborhood work is a lot like, I think my newest analogy that I like is a garden. Any plant that's not thriving in a garden, you have to ask, like, what's going on with the soil? Is there good access to sunlight? Is there good access to water? Maybe it's not the plant. Maybe it's the foundation of where they're growing. And so a lot of that has to do with the built environment of the place. Are there trees? Are there good sidewalks to get to school safely? Are there parks that are safe to play in? And so that's I think a helpful analogy for what our work is like is it's, the plants can grow. We just need to make sure that the soil is good and there's access to sunlight and water.
And it's an excellent illustration.
It really
because
is.
just the act of planting something in a garden is an act of faith. We may never see what that tree looks like when it grows all the way to its full growth. And we believe that the best things that come from the College Hill neighborhood and the Blythe Oldfield neighborhood are things that Kyle and I will probably not ever see in our lifetime. But that's what makes this work. It's work of faith. It's slow and methodical, and it takes a lot of time, but so does a garden. And we've had a lot of fun in the gardens. It's a ton of work, but it's the kind of work that our chamber members can come and be involved in because it takes a lot of hands to do it, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
as to future growth, I think the question is always, like, we wouldn't look at it as, well, what's the next neighborhood that we're going to go to? It's, is there someone that's invited us to come be a part of what they're trying to do in their neighborhood already, as opposed to going to a neighborhood and saying, we're City Fields and we can help. It's,
Yeah, I think I worded it wrong, and I apologize for that.
No, it's
I mean,
not.
We
because
can ask that question. It's fine.
yeah, I just kind of, I just want, I'm trying to figure the best way, but I just didn't know if there was a limit to how far, or it's as far as it's necessary and you're asked to go.
Yeah, and we do. We have a measurement tool called the Flourishing Neighborhood Index that we're doing one right now on College Hill, which takes a kind of holistic measurement of what people in the neighborhood believe about the status of their neighborhood when it comes to safety, access to services, access to housing, all of those things that go into making a flourishing place. And we take that data, meet with the neighborhood, and come up with strategies for what the priorities are to address. And I guess if all those scores one day came back as all fives, then we'd be like, well, that's great. Let's
Okay, see
we'll
ya.
retire. But in any neighborhood, there's always things to work on.
Yes.
And so it's just a matter of making sure that the people who live there are the ones guiding what that is going to look like.
Yeah, their voices are what drive us to do what we do. And I think we've also had to learn from a capacity standpoint. That's one thing that's great about being a part of the chamber. When a need is presented to us, if we can't meet that need, I mean, everything goes into the mirror of our mission. Is this what we do? Are there people in Cleveland and Bradley County who are better equipped to handle that need? And that's when we refer people to other agencies and other people that are a part of our chamber. So that's one thing that's great about chamber membership. You always know an expert in the area of someone's need, and we can help connect them the same way the chamber does.
I always tell people I've got about 800 guys going through my head all the time when I'm talking to people. I'm like, ooh, they need to talk to X and Y and Z, or oh, that would be a good match for that one. So, well, thank you both for being here. Thank you very much for what you do for the community. What is the website and phone number if people want to call and get some information about your programs?
Sure. Our website is cityfieldscdc.com. Cityfields CDC, which stands for Community Development Corporation.com, and that's menu driven towards all of the different work that we do. Gives you contact information, tells you a little bit about where we've been in the past, what we're doing now, and how you can be involved in it. Or if you want to just give us a call, we're area code 423-472-9876, and follow us on our socials, especially Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Those are the best ways to find out about our work.
That'll be great. Thank you both very much. Appreciate
Tammy.
it.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and check out City Fields. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.